Okay, transformations. Figure T, the large arrow was dilated with the origin as the center of dilation to create figure S. The small arrow, which rule best represents the dilation that was applied to figure T to create figure S. Okay, so I can see that it is a reduction. So that means my scale factor needs to be less than 1. So I can get rid of A, and I can get rid of B. And I can see that it's going from 6 to 3. So my new over original, 3 over 6, equals 1/2. So it's half the size that it was before C. Number 2, triangle ABC was translated 3 units to the left and 2 units up. Which rule describes the translation that was applied to triangle ABC to create triangle A prime B prime C prime? Okay, so 3 units to the left, that would affect my X value. And to move to the left 3 times, I want to subtract 3. And 2 up, I want to add 2 to my Y value. So A would be my answer. B would move it 2 to the right and 3 down. C would be a dilation. And D would also be a dilation. So I would not want to choose either C or D. Number 3, circle 2 was dilated with the origin as the center to create circle 1, which best represents the dilation applied to circle 2 to create circle 1. Okay, so I have a reduction. It's getting smaller. We know it's a dilation, so I need to multiply. So I'm going to get rid of B and D. Excuse me. And it's a smaller, I want it to get smaller, so it's not C because 8/3 is greater than 1. So it must be A because it is decreasing in size. Number 4, a figure is graphed on a coordinate grid as shown. The figure is rotated 90 degrees clockwise with the origin as the center of rotation to create a new figure. Which rule describes this transformation? Okay, so it's going 90 degrees clockwise. So I would definitely want to grab my patty paper here and rotate my figure to see what would happen. So I have point A, which is located at 8 and 5. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise. So it's no longer going to be at 8 and 5. It's going to be at 5 and -8. And I would definitely use my patty paper for that. A and A prime. Okay, so I want to observe what happens. Well, my X and Y have now flipped places. I now have Y and then X. And my 8 went to the opposite. It became negative. So I have Y, -X, D. Number 5, a figure is graphed on a coordinate grid as shown. The figure is reflected across the Y-axis to create a new figure. Which rule describes this transformation? Okay, so I probably would use my patty paper again. So I want to go across my Y-axis and I want a reflection. So for example, if A here is located 8 away from my Y-axis, it's going to be located 8 away from my Y-axis on the other side. So I had 8 and 5, and now I have -8 and 5. Sorry, that's not needed. So what happened? Well, I had X and Y. X became opposite and Y stayed the same. So A. Okay, in our all mixed up section, Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo and Entertainer merchandise sales reached more than 3,600,000. Which of the following shows this amount in proper scientific notation? So when we look at scientific notation, I want to find my first two whole numbers and I want to place my decimal between those so that my number is greater than 1 but less than 10. So I have 3.6. That number is greater than 1 and less than 10. So I'm going to get rid of C and D. And then I'm going to count how many times would I need to move my decimal. So I'm going to grab another red. I'm going to grab red here. And I would see that I would need to move my decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So I would need to multiply by 10 6 times. So B would be my answer. Number 2, fans shared and retweeted original content of the show at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo to approximately 1.2 times 10 to the 8 people worldwide. Which of the following shows this amount in standard form? Okay, so 1.2 times 10 to the 8. I'll move my decimal 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I like to box in. So I can count that there's actually 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I'll place my commas in the correct place. So I have 120 million. So D would be my answer. The two lines graphed on the coordinate grid each represent an equation. Which ordered pair represents a solution to both? Okay, so I want the place in which both are crossing. I want to where they are equal to each other, so a solution to both. Okay, so a solution to both would be where they are crossing. So -3 and 2.5. Number 4, Rebecca can decorate 2 cupcakes in 5 minutes. Which graph has a slope that best represents the number of cupcakes per minute Rebecca can decorate? Okay, so 2 cupcakes in 5 minutes. So my rate of change is 2 over 5. So if she can do 2 cupcakes in 5 minutes, she can do 1 cupcake in 2.5 minutes, right? Okay, so 2 cupcakes, 5 minutes is located here. But here, this is 5 cupcakes in 2 minutes. So I'm going to get rid of the first one. My third graph, I have 2 cupcakes, 5 minutes would be here. So that's not on my line. And my next, I have 2 cupcakes in 10 minutes. So be very careful. There's 1 cupcake in 5 minutes. But that's not what this says. My slope is 2 over 5. So the second graph would represent that relationship. Number 5. The graph below represents the total cost of admission to an amusement park based on the number of tickets purchased. Which of the following statements best represents the data in the graph? The relationship is nonlinear because the graph shows only 4 points. That is not true. Just because there's no line drawn doesn't mean it's not linear. If I were to connect these points, it would be a linear relationship. Okay. So that is not true. Excuse me. The number of tickets depends on the total cost of tickets. So the number of tickets is not going to depend on the cost. The cost is going to depend on the ticket. So B is not right. The unit rate is $4 for 1 ticket. So let's look. Let's see. 1 ticket is about right here. And if I were to bring that up, I can actually see that that would be, that doesn't look quite accurate. 4 tickets is $32. See that? So if 4 tickets is $32, then 1 ticket would be $8. Okay, so C's not right. The relationship is proportional because the line containing the 4 points passes through the origin. So the line doesn't actually pass through the origin, but if I imagine this line continuing, and I'm going to draw one, would it go through the origin? Yes, so D is my answer. It is a proportional relationship. Number 6, the yearly cost of a community college based on the number of credits is shown in the table below. Which equation represents this situation? Okay, so we can see if I look at this, if I'm looking for my equation, I want my slope and my y-intercept. What am I multiplying x by and adding to x? Okay, so I'm going to look for my slope, my change in y to change in x. So I'm increasing by 150 for 2. 150 over 2. Change in y, change in x. So that would be 75. So immediately I can get rid of b. Okay, so now I'm going to look at, well, if 75 is my slope or my rate of change, then I should take my rate of change and be able to multiply 75 times 3. Let's put that actually in parentheses, 75 times 3, which gives me 225. And then what do I need to add to get to 350? Well, I need to add 125 to get to 350. So C would be my answer. Now I'm going to try it again. Let's do 75 times 5. So here I'm here. So 75 times 5 is 375. But I need 500. So what would I need to add to 375 to get to 500? Well, I would need to add 125. So C is my answer.